What's going on, everybody? And right now, this is going to be the first episode of this little series that I'm about to do. I'm going to be documenting this whole getting funded journey. And if for people that don't really know what getting funded is or what that means by getting funded, in a sense, if you know how to trade, which is what I teach other people, which is what I've been learning over the past 3 years, I've been learning how to trade, which is understanding reading charts, and that is the skill set. And if you have the skill set, there's certain companies that are called prop firms that if you can pass a certain evaluation, phase one, phase two, some even have one phases, they go about their challenge or basically assessment to basically see if you're able to trade properly before they can fund you an account. For an example, say you don't have a lot of money to trade, these companies will allow you to trade up to 100,000, 50,000, 25,000, 10,000, and you can even merge these accounts so you can trade a large amount of capital. And why would people want to do that? Because that means they can risk a really small percentage of that, but that will still be a lot. So 1% of 100,000 is $1,000. If you risk $1,000 on one trade, you could potentially make $2,000 to $3,000 in one day. And these prop firms, they keep a percentage. So for example, if you make $3,000, or let's just keep it simple, let's say you make $1,000, they'll keep roughly about 20% of it. You'll make 80. Some prop firms, you'll keep 70%, they'll keep 30. It really depends on the prop firm that you're looking into, but the one that I'm going to be going into is FTMO, and we're gonna see what's up. I'm gonna be documenting the whole thing, losses, wins. I want to document the live streams, being there. I want to be as in depth and transparent as possible through this whole journey, trials and tribulations. And this isn't my first challenge. I've failed multiple challenges. No matter what, we learn from all those losses, and we're going to beat this challenge, because I promise you, I'm done spending money on these challenges. The money that I spend on this challenge is going to get doubled, tripled, and quadrupled with the payouts that I get from these challenges. I'm talking 2, 5, 6K payouts, 10K payouts. I'm about to take over, and everyone that I'm about to take this challenge with inside of the FBA group, we have about 4 or 5 people that are also taking challenges this week and trying to get funded. And I promise you, once we all get funded, it's game over, because I promise you, we are the best traders. We just haven't developed into that person that we want to be yet. We're getting there, and we're one step closer every day, but we're only improving over time. And I promise you, together we're gonna take over. But without further ado, I'm probably gonna go into the computer with you guys, and I'm gonna show you me doing all the purchasing, the challenge, and just all that little stuff. Okay, guys, so I just went into the FTMO and got the challenge just now. I probably still have to wait for the confirmation and everything for the details on the challenge. But right here, these are the 2 other challenges that I failed, and this is just on one account. I have a previous FTMO login with my other email. That's where it has the majority of the failed challenges. I have like about 15 to 17 to 20 on there. It's a lot, guys, and especially 100K challenges. The money is not cheap. I just spent $605 on this, and at the end of the day, I don't have $605 just to be throwing into something that I don't truly believe is going to actually be beneficial. This is something that is going to change my life. It's going to change the people around me's life, and I promise you, I'm going to show you the exact process, how I'm doing it, day in, day out, and I'm going to be as transparent as possible. All right, so I'm back, guys, and I just got the 100K challenge. Hold on, I just got the 100K challenge, as you can see. FTMO just gave me all the credentials and everything. As you can see, everything is still with nothing on it. Nothing. Profit target 10,000, which is 10%. Max loss 10,000. Max daily loss 5,000. Minimum trading days. Balance starting with 100,000. We're gonna get it to 110,000 before. Wow, I haven't started yet. It's gonna start basically the 30 days from when I start the challenge and take the first trade, but it's all logged in. We're gonna be trading NAS 100 specifically. I usually trade US 30, but I think for this case, for the challenge, it's gonna be best for me to stick to one pair. It'll just make things way easier and less stressful for me. We're gonna stick to NAS 100. We're gonna see what we can get. So this is the start of a beginning of a new chapter, because I'm gonna keep on saying it. I'm not failing this one. This is gonna be 110% in a month from when I started. So just wanted to show you guys, keep you updated. I'm about to get a haircut, so you'll probably see that in the next clip, but I'll see you in a minute. One thing I wanted to also make sure that I show you guys and let you guys know is inside of my book right here, this right here is my the master plan, and in this I'm going to be having basically the step-by-step rules that I'm going to be taking for the challenge, because at the end of the day we have to look at what we do here as a business, and we have to make sure that what we do is all systematic and it has a process behind it, so that we don't allow our emotions to get involved. Because especially in this industry such as trading, when you allow your emotions to get involved, that's what leads to your demise and your downfall. So right here we have the FTMO 2023 100K. This is where I'm going to essentially be having all of my notes for what I'm actually going to be doing when it comes to trades, the amount of trades, all of that. So we're gonna go through it right now here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just gonna kind of walk you guys through the whole process of what I'm going to be doing. So one, how many trades am I allowed to take? I'm allowing myself one trade per session, and the 2 sessions that I trade are London and New York session. So that's 1 for London session and then 1 for New York session. Or if I want to play things a little bit aggressive, say I take a loss and then I do see another opportunity right after, because something that does happen to me a lot is I get stopped out right before the original move. So if that does happen, then I will be allowed to take that second trade, but then I have to call it a day. So step 1, I'm allowing myself 1 trade per session, London session and New York session. 2, risk. How much money am I risking? I'm risking about 1% per trade until I can get a good buffer of maybe about 4 or 5%. Once I get to that about 4 or 5%, I can maybe up the risk a little bit, maybe 1%, 1.5%. But at the end of the day, it really depends on how well I do. If I do very good the first week, if I have a very high profit, then I may just keep it slow, just keep it consistent. But if I have a really bad first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I may have to risk a little bit more going to that 4th week, because one thing with these challenges is they do restrict you a lot of the time. They give you a lot of limitations, they give you a lot of rules and certain things that you have to meet and criteria. So risk, I'm risking about 1% per trade, 1 trade per session, which could potentially be 2 trades a day max, or 1 trade a day max. 3, risk reward. I'm going to be going for 1 to 2s and 1 to 3s minimum. I'm not taking 1 to 1s, I'm not taking 1 to 1.5s. So basically I'm going to be taking minimum 1 to 2s and 1 to 3s, meaning for every $1 that I risk, no minimum, I need $2 or $3, no less. Simple. 4, when am I going to risk free? I'm going to risk free my trades at 1 to 1. That's just one thing that I've continued to do for a long time. And yes, I've had concerns about maybe breaking even in 1 to 2, 1 to 1.5, but I think breaking even at a 1 to 1 is perfect for me, just because it allows me to take risk off semi-fast. And worst comes to worst, that's why I have that second potential trade. So if I do get breaking even and it does still look like it's gonna play out, I have that initial one more trade. So we have the amount of trades, we have the risk that we're gonna take, we have the risk reward, what setups I'm gonna be looking for. Ideally, the setup that I look for, primarily London and New York, at the end of the day is really false break scenarios. It really just depends on where price is moving into certain times. But if it comes down to a very specific setup that I take, it will come down to London session. London session, I probably have the most replicatable system and pattern, or just setup, so to say, is when we run the lows or run the highs of the Asian session going into that 2 to 3 o'clock window for London open. So as long as that 3 a.m. 1 hour candle runs into maybe a fair value gap, runs into an Asian session high or low, a previous day high or low, that's what's going to allow me to take a trade. And that's what is more replicatable compared to trading New York session, where it's a little bit more complicated at the end of the day. There's more potential scenarios to play out. First, London session is a little bit more straightforward. But when it comes to setups, I'm really a false break trader. I trade when we run old highs and lows to keep it very simple. There's a lot of things in between that I look for, but if you want to know more about that, then I would recommend watching older videos or joining the Telegram, or just getting the mentorship and course overall. But that's really the kind of blueprint for the most part, but this is probably about maybe 20% of the actual journey. The main things that I need to lock in on is the mindset and the psychology portion of this, because that is where the real magic happens. That's where the real failure, the real winnings is all going to take place, because this is what is really going to make or break the success of this challenge, or make or break someone's career when it comes to trading in general. You have to make sure that your mindset is 100%, because to be able to function in an environment where you may be could be taking a lot of losses, maybe not winning enough trades, maybe all your trades are look like they're gonna play out and they don't. There's a lot of different scenarios, but they're all going to be pushing, and they're all going to be just pushing on your emotions. It's going to be making you a very emotional overall, just because you know you have an outcome that you want, and maybe it's not giving you that. Maybe your expectations are not being met. And these are all going to lead to you kind of having these outbursts when it comes to emotions over trading, over leveraging, taking trades that aren't in your setup, trading times that you don't need to be trading, not following your rules when it comes to not getting in or out of a trade. There's a whole bunch of different things, but having a system is one thing, but if you're not mentally, if you're not in the right state of mind, mindset, then none of it's gonna matter, and you're gonna throw it all out the window and start doing all the things that you know you shouldn't. One thing I recommend you guys all do is either get a haircut or just do something that is gonna build your confidence. Confidence is one of the most important things when it comes to trading, and doing something that's simple and easy as getting a haircut, going to get a wax, going to get your eyebrows done, or overall maybe even getting your nails done, feet done, something. That confidence is going to go a long way, and it's going to allow you to perform in harsh environments. Now we just took our first trade on the challenge. It's got about a 1-2. As you can see, TP2 got hit at the Asian range low. It could go lower, but for the most part, I took off most of my partials. We're up about 1,000 for the day, so that counts at 100,164. You can see the trade played out precision to its finest. Have the high of the day, caught the high of the wick. We're gonna see what's up. Only time will tell. But right now it's 5:20 in the morning, so it's pretty early. Probably gonna be done for the day. Probably not gonna trade New York, especially because I have a runner. So if this just keeps going lower, I'm cool with capitalize just on that. But I also just journaled the trade, and just to show you guys, cap, I'll show you the FTMO metrics also. As you can see, the login for the challenge, credentials, balance 101.64. Go to the metrics, the trade, only one trade taken. I only went to $100 a drawdown too, which is kind of crazy. So in a sense, I only risked $107 to make 1,000, considering the drawdown. We're going to ideally try to keep the average profit at least above 1,000, average loss. Try to keep it 500, yeah. And the reasoning before this trade, I'm gonna get into it real quick. So going into 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock is that time that I'm ideally looking for reversal setups when it comes to NAS 100, which is what I'm gonna be taking a challenge on majorly. We ran this ASIN session high, and we also had a 1 minute fair value gap and imbalance that if you look closely, right above those highs, right over here, if you zoom on in, there's this volume imbalance, and that's where I was expecting price to potentially have that reaction off of. So if you then come back to the 15-minute time frame and go to where price reacted, you can see price ran right above that wick, 15-minute candle, engulfed to the downside, made a big old wick, and then went straight to TP for the most part. Yeah, it was choppy while we were in the trade, but pretty good. I'll probably add a little clip from the live session of us taking the trade with me and Jenner, because this is also happening all on live stream too. So all the trades were taken during the live stream, during Discord, and called out inside the Telegram. So yeah, if you ain't here, you missing out, because all this shit was called for free. No cap, and it's still going. All right, so I'm not gonna show the video too much because it does have copyrighted music. But we can see before the trade, the area we were watching for. And then you can see we got into the trade when price was pushing high, and then the rest was history. Yeah, I just want to show you guys the actual live stream real quick. And also, before I end it, I'm about to journal the little trade and everything. Journaling right here. This is usually what I do. Where's my pen? Usually what I do after every trade, whether I win or lose, I kind of just talk about just overall how I felt in the trade, just the overall thoughts, my emotions, the whole process of it, just to have it actually written down so I can read it, and it's good for you when you actually write things down, keeps you thinking about it. But I just wanted to show you that before I end it off here. But that's going to be the first episode for getting funded, in a sense. We're 1% there, we're almost there, 9% to go, but we got about 30 days. So we're only on phase 1, but like I said, I'm gonna keep you guys updated. We're gonna do what we gotta do, stay productive, and just kill this shit, pass it, get a payout, and change our lives. I'm gonna help you guys change yours too, just by showing you what's possible. So appreciate you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.